Under the bonnet of the 2026 Mustang Boss lies a naturally aspirated 5.4-litre V8 engine. Ford has revived this displacement specifically for this car, and it delivers a stunning 525 horsepower and 480 lb-ft of torque. This is a high-revving motor, with peak power arriving at around 7,500 RPM, giving it an old-school muscle car roar with a modern twist in throttle response. The engine is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, with an optional 10-speed automatic for those who prefer the car to do the work. 0 to 60 is claimed to be around 3.9 seconds with the auto, and just over 4 seconds with the manual. Not the fastest Mustang in the lineup, but probably the most characterful. The power delivery feels visceral and unfiltered, giving that raw American muscle feel that modern turbocharged engines just can't replicate. And thanks to revised internals like forged pistons and titanium valves, the engine feels built to take punishment. The exhaust is loud, the throttle response is instant, and every gear shift feels like it means something. This isn't a car that hides its intentions, it wants to be driven hard. And the sound it makes? Thunderous. It's the kind of car that makes you downshift for no reason other than to hear the bark of the V8. Every detail of the powertrain has been tuned to deliver maximum engagement, and it's safe to say Ford absolutely nailed the emotional side of performance with this one. The 2026 Boss Mustang is not just a straight-line bruiser. Ford has taken serious steps to refine its handling. It uses a stiffer version of the standard Mustang's chassis, with added bracing across the strut towers and subframe. The suspension setup is track-focused with MagnaRide adaptive dampers that constantly adjust to the road surface or your driving style. There's also a new Boss-specific front splitter and rear diffuser that add actual downforce at speed. The car comes with wider track widths both front and rear compared to the standard GT, which helps it feel more planted, especially when attacking corners. The steering is weighty and precise, giving you plenty of feedback, and there's even a new Track Plus mode that dials up throttle response, tightens the dampers, and relaxes traction control for more tail-happy fun. While it still carries some of that classic Mustang nose-heavy feeling, it's dramatically improved in terms of balance and poise. This is a muscle car you'll actually want to take on a twisty road or track day, not just cruise on a highway. Big Brembo brakes front and rear keep things in check, and after a few laps, they hold up well with minimal fade. It's responsive and surprisingly agile for a car of this size, and it gives you the confidence to push harder with every corner. Even if you're not a track junkie, you'll appreciate the way this car feels tight and composed when you're carving through a backroad. Visually, the 2026 Boss Mustang doesn't just wear its heritage on its sleeve, it flexes it. The design is instantly aggressive and purpose-built. The front grille is wider and meaner, with retro-style horizontal slats reminiscent of the original 1969 Boss 302. There's a functional heat extractor on the bonnet, helping to keep engine temps in check, while also looking properly menacing. Along the sides, you'll notice the black striping with Boss lettering. Again, a throwback to the classic. Ford offers it in several bold colors, including a reimagined grabber blue and competition orange. But the most eye-catching one is a new deep metallic yellow that really pops in sunlight. Around the back, there's a huge rear wing that's not just for show. It's aerodynamically tuned to increase rear grip at high speeds. The quad exhausts poke out from a sculpted rear diffuser, and the LED tail lights carry over the signature Mustang triple-bar look. Compared to a standard GT, the Boss sits lower, has wider fender flares, and rolls on 19-inch forged wheels with sticky Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Overall, the Boss looks like it means business from every angle. Every detail has been tuned to both recall the past and push the Mustang's look into the future. Even the stance of the car screams performance, with a hunkered-down profile and muscular bodywork. It's one of those cars that looks fast even when it's parked. Step inside the 2026 Mustang Boss, and you're greeted by a cabin that blends performance focus with enough modern tech to keep it feeling up to date. The seats are unique to the Boss model. Deeply bolstered Recaros wrapped in Alcantara and leather, with contrasting stitching and embroidered Boss logos on the headrests. The driving position is low and sporty, with good visibility and just enough retro cues like the classic dual-cowl dashboard design. In front of the driver sits a fully digital 12.4-inch instrument cluster, which can be customized to show a track-focused layout, including lap timers, G-force meters, and shift indicators. The central touchscreen is Ford's 13.2-inch SYNC4 unit, slick, responsive, and capable of wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also a premium B&O sound system, though let's be honest, you'll probably be listening to the V8 most of the time. Material quality is decent, though not quite luxury level. It's all about the driving experience here. There are also Boss-exclusive graphics, startup animations, and a dedicated performance app that tracks lap times and lets you tweak things like exhaust note, suspension firmness, and steering weight. Everything is angled slightly towards the driver, giving it a cockpit-like vibe. Overall, it feels focused without being Spartan. You get that sense that this is a performance car first, but not one that sacrifices comfort or tech. It's a solid blend of old-school soul and new-school smarts. Despite its aggressive looks and track-ready setup, the 2026 Mustang Boss is surprisingly usable as a daily driver, at least compared to some of its hardcore rivals. The ride, while firm, is still livable in normal mode thanks to the MagnaRide dampers, and the exhaust can be quieted down to avoid waking the neighbors. There's a decent-sized boot at the back, good for weekend bags or a small grocery run, and the back seats, while tight, can accommodate kids or short trips with adults in a pinch. Fuel economy is, well, not great, with figures hovering around 15 miles per gallon in the city and maybe 22 on the highway, but that's to be expected from a big V8. What is impressive is the level of standard safety tech. You get adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, and automatic emergency braking, all bundled into Ford's Copilot 360 suite. It's not something you'd normally associate with a muscle car, but it's appreciated if you plan to drive this thing regularly. Noise insulation is decent at motorway speeds, and the clutch isn't overly heavy if you go for the manual. Parking sensors and a 360-degree camera help with tight spaces, though it's still a wide car. So while it's definitely a focused performance machine, it's not so hardcore that it becomes a garage queen. With the right mindset, you could drive it every day and enjoy the drama of a true muscle car without giving up all the creature comforts. The 2026 Mustang Boss starts at just under $62,000 in the US, which puts it in a slightly higher bracket than the GT, but well below something like a Shelby GT 500. For what you're getting, exclusive styling, serious performance upgrades, and that 5.4-litre V8, it feels like pretty good value in today's performance car market. It undercuts many European alternatives like the BMW M4 or Audi RS5, both of which offer similar power, but a very different vibe. The closest real rival is probably the Camaro ZL1, though the Boss feels more driver-focused and less bloated. Dodge's Charger and Challenger are on their way out, making the Mustang one of the last true American V8 coupes still in production. And if you want something more exotic, you'd have to look at used Porsche 911s or a Toyota Supra with mods. But again, none of those give you the same sense of drama or muscle car charisma. Ford is also rumored to be limiting production numbers, which could help with long-term value and desirability. You're not just buying a Mustang, you're buying into a piece of heritage that's been modernized in just the right way. And while it's not cheap, it's also not unobtainable. For anyone who's always dreamed of owning a special edition pony car with real track cred and old-school attitude, the 2026 Boss makes a very strong case. It may not be the most polished or refined car in its class, but it's certainly one of the most exciting.